You can you guys hear me? Just let me know quick. Yeah, it is always muted in the start of the stream because I like to give like 2 minutes so that everyone can join. Meanwhile, I can just scan the market. So yeah, that's good. Let's begin with the stream. Open's doing good. Opens had a good weekend to have some rest, and let's start with the new week. Few of the things to begin with is BTC has been doing nothing for days now. Has been within this consolidation, not something to be focused on too much in the past days because most of the money had to be made elsewhere with majors running, with ETH running, ETH going insane, swing printing, and also today Sol catching up and trying to also break above yearly open. So a lot of money is to be made on majors and alts that are outperforming Bitcoin for the past days. But now I kind of feel like the way Bitcoin has been horizontally consolidating, with higher time frame momentum now resetting, which I call like horizontal accumulation, while the higher time frame RSI such as 4 hour and RSI is resetting back to 50 area. We had a good for 8 hour demand confirmation. We got some good sweep at weekly open and a buyback. Now I am inclining towards is that you got a good dominance cool off for days now, right? Constant down only for long period of time and dominance. And now I feel like we can get back to the Bitcoin game where initially we enjoyed longing Bitcoin when we got the 110K break. Since then, we have shifted the focus towards alts and majors. Now I feel like the money is to be rotated back into Bitcoin to give us a healthy market, right? Because usually in a healthy market, what you want to see is Bitcoin take the lead, alts and majors eventually follow. Then again, Bitcoin takes the lead, and then eventually alts and majors follow. So this is what I am inclining towards this week: is that alts and majors have been on a hot running streak for now, and now is a good time for dominance to bounce for a while. Not being bearish on alts and majors, I am just saying that I think next few days alts and majors could underperform a little, like they could stall for a while. Another reason I think that is because a lot of them are approaching big important areas, right? Like for example, ETH has been up only and now approaching the only area which is sitting in between current price and to a new all-time high on ETH, right? Which is your 4,000, 4,100 area. Same goes for Sol. We have talked about this high time frame range on Sol for for months now. That once we get this 160 flip, you target the yearly open, you target the range highs. This has been the range on Sol, with 125 being your range lows, 190 being your range highs, and also your yearly open. So with majors approaching these crucial areas, what I kind of think is that they could cool off for a while, they could stall, maybe bleed a little due to dominant strength, and money starts flowing into Bitcoin again, and we get new highs somewhere around this week. So that's the plan for now. ETH is going insane. The strength it has. Obviously, we need to evaluate whether we are able to break above 4K or not, and that would be the deciding factor whether we get a good ETH all-time high rally or not. The 4,000 flip, and if we do end up flipping 4,000, that's where I'll call second swing on ETH for all-time high rally. That would look something like this, where like if we do a quick sweep of range highs, reject, trap people bearish, and start accepting above, I'll call another swing with targets like 5 6K, right? But that's a story for some other day when we get to test this 4K area. For now, I think things are still really bullish higher time frame. A lot of alts still believe are yet to catch up. Most of the bedding you are still seeing is on the majors and the BTC side. A lot of mid caps and lower caps have still been stalling. Like when you zoom out, most of them are still at their higher time frame lows, and that's my focus coming weeks as well, right? We nailed this ETH swing. Now my main focus related to ETH would be that we start getting some good swing spot exposure on ETH related mid caps, right? Whether it's DeFi, whether it's some of the ETH memes or some of the ETH utility coins, things like ETC, things like Link, AVE, CRV, ENA, these DeFi, some of the ETH memes like Pepe, Mog, even SPX. So I believe that these are the coins that would be running hot coming weeks, especially if we are able to get 4K break, right? Because if you look at things objectively, ETH is up like 50% within a week or a little more than that, yet most of the alts are still stalling, right? So there is a lot of money to be made on the alt side, I believe, in coming weeks. But again, 4K would be an area where we need to evaluate things, right? 4K acceptance above is the all season starting trigger that we need for summers. So yeah, that's what I have. Today's position is one Bitcoin long. The second is Cardano long, which is going well. It's up like 5% from our entry. Flipped yearly open. It's a very clean range that you hold on to as long as yearly open holds. You target this as your first target, this mid range area, and eventually 1.15 as a second target. So Cardano and Bitcoin is the two exposure I'm sticking to today. What I kind of think and about the pullbacks and flushes that people keep on talking about. I've said about that in the past that you keep on playing the trend until proven otherwise. That's my major plan. Obviously, we can be cautious time to time, which personally the plan for me is that we enjoy longing for a few more days, then towards like 25th onwards. And the reason I say 25th onward is that when you study the Bitcoin price action this entire year since January 2025, the major trend has been that 25th till 30th is the 5 days you have the least return on Bitcoin, right? You either see Bitcoin either stalling or like 60 to 70% of the time you get some good end of month de-risking, right? You can study the average returns on Bitcoin during the last 5 days of the month in 2025, and most of the times you get some sort of pullback or some sort of bleed on Bitcoin that you can get to bid, right? So in terms of pullbacks and flushes, that's what I'm eyeing at. I think end of month is where we can start to be a bit cautious. But for that, that's just regarding to leverage, right? All on our spot packs, you don't need to be worried about. Just keep on planning things, keep on gradually scaling into things. Have been saying that for 2 weeks. Things have been running since 2 weeks, and I still believe the same, right? You will get pullbacks eventually. Not saying that it's up only market pullbacks do occur, especially when everyone starts saying that there will be no pullback. That's where you get the pullback. But just leverage is where you sometimes need to be cautious on pullbacks. Spot you can always, because even if you get a flush, which is like a good 20-30% typical flush candle, even if you get that, those wicks and pullbacks get immediately bought back up in the next few hours, right? So if you are comfortably holding your spot packs, you really shouldn't be worrying about such flushes, right? And even if you do get that flushes, always leave some extra powder, some extra USDTs, some stables that you would get to deploy if you get those flushes, right? Now, in terms of do I think the market looks heated enough to be calling for flushes now? I was completely against that idea last week. Last week we talked about continuously how fundings are still neutral, open interest is still not to that elevated areas. But now I can say that I'm starting to see a bit of aggressiveness. But in terms of funding, the things are still pretty healthy, pretty neutral funding across board, especially on majors and higher caps. The max I see is 0.02, 0.025, which is pretty normal. But few things on the caution side I'm seeing is the amount of open interest we are adding against the price change, right? I'll share the chart I have on ETH, for example. So how you can put things into perspective is in those who attended the education session we had regarding flow and how to gauge open interest in fundings, and how to gauge those indicators to see what stage of market you are in. You would be able to understand is that open interest alone isn't something that tells you much, but if you put it against the price and the strength of price, it does tell you sometimes on what to expect next, right? And the thing I'm seeing right now is that in this initial rally where Ethereum moved from like 29.30 up till 36.70, which was almost like a 25% price increase, you had at max like a 7 to 8% OI increase, right? You can check that on Coinalyze or any of the platforms. The aggregated OI that got elevated with this 25% move was just a 6-7% OI gain, right? But now since weekend, within this price, within this small price increase, which is almost like a 7% price increase, you are almost added like 14 to 15% of aggregated OI on ETH, right? So it does kind of indicate you that markets getting a bit heated than it was last week, right? You can compare, right? The price change per OI was much higher last week, which is kind of healthy. You need more price change over change in OI compared to what it is this week, right? How do I now uh, use this in my trading confidence? I use this in a way that as long as the market looks strong, I won't be worried about this open interest much. But if in the coming days the markets begin to stall, they begin to bleed, fundings begin to crawl up, right? Like you get to 0.05, 0.06, funding rates on majors and price starts looking weaker, that's where I will consider that this excess OI that's being aggressive this week, that gets unwinded, right? But I'm not seeing that yet. But yeah, we do see signs of heated leverage market coming up, which was not which what we had last week, right? So something to keep in mind, that we could be getting some OI wipeouts in coming times. But so far, I think we are good, to be honest. I don't have too much confluences to be worried about. Only confluence I had on the ETH OI. I explained that just now. I'll continue not complicated things, right? Even if we get a pullback, we'll take few stops, we'll start bidding again. It's not end of the world, even if we get the flush and we are in longs, right? As long as risk is managed, there isn't too much to think about. Keep playing the trend until proven otherwise. So that's what I had initially. As usual, I'd love to know from you people how your trading has been. What do you think about the market? Anything in general you want to be talking about, feel free to do so. Cardano looks really good, man. It's one of the strongest trading alt on the day. Bonk also actually looks really good, to be honest, but I didn't want to be in like 3 logs today. So I'm letting it go, but it's a really nice deviation and reclaim setup. So we talked about 34 being a good pivot area on Bonk. We sold back down during the weekend, and now we are reclaiming with some good strength, especially with BTC Sol trying to break above 190. This yearly open area. If Sol continues strength, I think Bonk could go on to another rally, but I don't want to overexpose on a Monday, to be honest. So I'll just stick to being long on Bitcoin and Cardano. Um, Top one question: what's the trigger and level for shorts when there will be a pullback in coming days? What's the trigger or levels for short when there will be a pullback in coming days? I've mentioned that, right? I'm already seeing signs of a lot of OI being piled up and a lot of leverage being aggressive. But we have talked about this concept in the past, that just as shorts can keep profiting in a downtrend, longs can keep profiting in an uptrend as well, as long as the price is being strong and it's being supported by strong spot bets, right? But yes, on the other hand, if you do start to see weaknesses in price, some fundings climbing up, and now the change in price not justifying those big players being long on ETH for a long period of time, right? Like, for example, if fundings begin to crawl up to 0.05, 0.06, and now those big positions have to pay such high funding every few hours, yet the price isn't moving, eventually they'd be forced to capitulate, right? And that's what causes the flush. But so far, you're not seeing that, right? Even if fundings are slightly high, those are still justified by price constantly going up and paying those positions which are paying the higher funding, right? The return on price still seems to be a lot more than the fundings that the positions have to pay. So, so far, it's nothing to be worried about and to be trying any shorts. But yeah, if you do start to see weakness in prices not justifying the high fundings, or piling up a lot, that's where you can start to be a bit cautious, TP your upside exposure, start looking for shorts, and that's how things go. Um, was there any reason you closed your ENA bags you bought last week? It was a bad play. Uh, as I said, it's no complicating season, and I tried to complicate. That was wrong on my part. This is a kind of market condition where you find a good setup, you take it regardless of what you think about the market, right? And for the first time, I did that wrong on ENA. I thought that it's logical to wait a little, get some Friday weekend pullback, and I'll start buying ENA again. But somehow we never got that pullback I wanted, and ENA ran. We'll look for some new exposure on ENA soon. To be honest, I think with the stablecoin and ETH narrative, it's another good contender that you should be having your eyes on. Bonk looks really good, man. Kind of makes me want to FOMO in, but I won't, because I'm already in 2 longs. Don't want to overexpose, but really good setup here. Yeah, I was gonna mention Bonk with useless turning as well. Good for the eco, yeah, true. Even though useless, I think, is kind of topped out. I know how that plays out with Bonk. But look at the useless chart and look at the Sundog listing on Bybit. You'll find a lot of similarities. This is what I'm trying to say, right? Look at this Sundog chart where you got the initial listing, right? Price deviated above the previous all-time high, the listing highs, and then it chopped for a while, and then if you want, I can quickly pull up the Sundog chart. And I'm talking about Sundog like back in the days when it got listed. Yeah, look at this chart. So like if you're playing the Sundog playbook um on useless, then probably we get like one more push into highs, like you got over here after the deviation. So probably this is the deviation. You get one more push into highs back into like 38. You form a good double top. If you see like a double top on useless and then it starts to bleed back down below the highs, I'll probably try some short on this, to be honest. Not saying it necessarily has to, so I'm not shorting it here. But I'm saying that if you get something like this, let me try to illustrate what I'm trying to say. So if you get another push up, sweep the highs maybe on the left, form like the double bottom like you had in Sundog over here. Um, that's where I look for some swing shots. Yeah, but Bonk on the other hand looks really good, man. Bonk, I'm still confident would be the first Sol meme with a Coinbase listing. That reminds me, does Fartcoin has a Coinbase listing yet or not? Does it or does it not? It has? Ah, it could be a battle between Fartcoin or Bonk, which one of the Sol memes in the with the CB listing runs to new all-time highs first. Fartcoin looks not bad as well on higher time frames, but Bonk is like 70% away. Fartcoin is like 70% away as well. So yeah, either of these two memes, I think, will be the first one on Sol with a Coinbase listing to be making new all-time highs. I'm looking for a sorry. I'm looking for a smart coin position if it's able to get above 1.557 on 4 hours, like 4 or 8 hours. So this is like the last daily resistance you have where Fartcoin rejected the last 3 times. Now it's also another the same level which we are rejecting for past days. But if it's able to give a clean break above, I think you can start longing for a move into new highs. New York Open is exactly in 6 minutes. Let's see what we get. I think if you get a pullback, like a mini pullback on Bonk at this 12-hour demand, like anything like this would be a good, really good long. Focus on Bonk. I think Bonk should be running good. The other coins that I'm focused on is, especially if it's able to break above 4,000 area, is ETH related eco coins, right? One is ENA. Wow, what a move on it. 40% above the entry we sold at. But yeah, ENA is something I look for position again. CRV, we started accumulating a bag yesterday. I'm happy to add more to it. Link is another one of the best looking weekly chart on a Dino coin you have right now. So Link looks really good. CRV looks good. AVE looks good. ETC looks really good. I think ETC is a silent sleeper right now, and if it's able to get above $25, we'll buy some good spot for a move into $50 plus. So ETC, Link, AVE, CRV, ENA. You'd see me calling swings on this in coming days. We are already in CRV. ENS is another chart that looks good, but we are already in ENS spot buys. It's up like 14-15%. We have taken small profits. I'll maybe give another call on ENS if I like it, but yeah, focus on ETH coins. What other questions we had? Can you check virtual too? Just like give me a few minutes. Usually in the beginning, I like to have some general market discussion, especially on a Monday, to give people perspective on how to look at market, how to play the market, and then we can take in some of the alt requests. Will the first major pullback end the uptrend? No, man. Why would that? Like pullbacks do happen, right? How would a pullback end an uptrend? I think CRV looks crazy good. I agree. I agree. I think this with the stablecoin narrative, CRV could perform good. What about near? I think it is close to strong resistance. We can take a look at near soon, but AI coins isn't something I'm too much focused on. And as far as I remember, near pivoted to AI a year back, right? And it used to go move only good when AI coins used to move good. Do you expect a market wide pullback or just BTC pullback after 25th? if after 25th we get some market de-risking, obviously everything is correlated in the end, right? Especially to the downside. Yes, upside moves are few things running on a particular day, then other things running on a particular day, but downside moves are usually correlated, right? Spec chart, please. I'll take an alt request soon. Do you consider what happened yesterday and Friday a flush? No, man. So what happened yesterday? Yesterday, what happened? Like, I don't think we pulled back much yesterday, but yeah, like, so if you get something like this where things are running and then you get like a slow bleed into the support area, this is not a flush, right? This is just a healthy, small, shallow pullback, right? Flushes, if you really want to see how flushes are in in an uptrend in a heated leveraged market, I can give you a example. Let's see if you're able to find a good flush candle on, let's say, Sol. When was the last time alts flushed good? I think it was it was where? Why cannot I find a good flush on Bitcoin? Yeah, I think it was here. Yeah, so this was the last flush candle we had in the market. The exact date is 5th December 2024. Now, what you want to do is go to any alt. Let's say, for example, what was something that was running good back in December 2024? These Dino coins, right? Let's see what ADA did back in 5th December 2024. 5th December. Wow, Cardano didn't budge much in that flush, man. So maybe not a good example, but yeah, which is a good flush where alts also flushed a lot. I think the last good example I can find is we had a big flush Feb this year. Are you serious? Like, I'm not talking about drawdowns, right? And drawdowns in prices you see time to time. I'm talking flushes where you get like 30% wicks within few minutes, right? That's what's called a flush. But you're saying that we got a flush in Feb this year? What happened in Feb? Let's see. No, man, Feb was a just gradual slow bleed across the chart. Feb wasn't a flush as far as I remember. Or maybe it was. No, you are actually right. Yeah, I have a bad memory lately. You're not 4th Feb, but yeah, this candle, 3rd Feb. You're talking about the flush we had when we had the tariffs, right? Yeah, you're right. My bad. So let's see how alts did back in like 2, 3 Feb, right? Yeah, exactly. This can no, this is what? This is 9th December. Where is 2, 3 Feb? 2, 3 Feb, Feb. Yeah, this is the candle, right? So this is what we are talking about, and this is what's called a flush where you get a single candle that's like 37% drawdown. And we are talking about high caps. I remember some of the lower mid caps even gave like a 40-50% candle to the downside, right? So this is what a flush is, where you get like a big drawdown on a single candle. But what you're talking about, what happened on, let's say, Friday or, time to time in the past weeks is just small, shallow bleeds, right? That isn't what's called a flush. I was raped that day. Yeah. So just don't repeat that mistake again, right? I think sooner I'll switch to hard stop losses for a while on all my positions. Like, as I believe that we get closer to a flush opportunity, I'll switch to calling out plays with only tight and hard stop losses. So even in case we get such candles, people do not suffer a lot on their accounts downside, right? Okay, New York opened. Let's see how it plays out. First target on our Bitcoin long is 121. What are the questions we had and we are missing? Ethena to create company stablecoin X and use 260 million of funds to buy Ethena tokens on open market. That's insane. Is it a news from today? Wow. I feel sad about not being in ENA. Like, we have talked about ENA versus APTF fractal like, hundred of times in past month. Now that it's playing out, I'm not in it. In it. Mhm. If New York Open gives a little pullback on BTC, will you long again? Does the pullback you have in mind include me getting stopped out? Then probably not, because I don't like to immediate long if I end up getting stopped on a trade, right, on the same coin. So hopefully, let's pray that we don't get stopped out, right? Isn't it better that way? Okay, so let's start taking some of the alt requests. Bitcoin looks good. Good buyback at the New York Open. I'm closely observing the flow. Decent spot betting as well. One thing I still find healthy is that yes, we did talk about initially that how OI is getting elevated on ETH a lot compared to the price change on it. Yet when you look at Bitcoin, the funding and the OI is still pretty much at the lows, right? You don't see that much of OI build up on Bitcoin. Maybe it's because the market isn't as interested in Bitcoin lately. Most of the interest and the bidding is going on elsewhere on the majors, especially on Ethereum, right? Like during the weekend, Ethereum was actually pulling like 30-40% higher trading volume compared to Bitcoin. That happens very few of less times. And that's, I think, also another reason that Bitcoin open interest is still at lows, because Bitcoin isn't something that market is interested lately. So I think if keeping that in mind, if Bitcoin starts running up, it could be a healthy rally back into new highs. So meanwhile, we can take in some alt requests. Start giving me quick. Someone said Floki. Floki, few of the things to be looking at. One is it's a good looking high time frame chart, especially ever since it flipped this 1127 area on weekly. So you can call this as a big high time frame range that's now finally reclaimed. Any pullbacks on it would be for bidding. What I personally have in mind to get in a Floki position is I do like the way it's just, vertically accumulating. And by now you should be knowing the term of vertical accumulation, where one is form of accumulation where you just get something like this. This is a good normal horizontal accumulation, right? Another form is where you get a rally and then the price just slow grinds up, right? These are also a form of bullish consolidations that eventually break up, right? So giving a good vertical accumulation. But what I want to see before I can start longing is the 4-hour RSI on it resetting back to like 4850 area, right? Similar to the setup Pengu gave yesterday, I believe, but I ended up not taking it. Remember, we talked about Pengu last week, and for its RSI to reset before you start longing again. But somehow this 4 hour, so it was also another form of vertical accumulation where the price was gradually grinding up. The RSI resetted back to 50 area. I was waiting for a little more reset into like 38, where the last time it bottomed, but unfortunately I missed that. But similar setup I'm looking at Floki, right? Price stops around for a bit longer. You get a shallow pullback, price 4-hour RSI resets to 50, and that's where we start longing Floki for another rally up. But yeah, it's one of the bullish memes to focus on, especially ever since it reclaimed this weekly higher time frame range. So good alt, have it on your list in coming days. I think it goes on to another leg up sooner. Grass, I think Ela and Aztec shared a good plan on it. You can stick to that. I just want to go on to alts quick. SNX, the dead DeFi, is it catching some bets again? I don't know, man. Like, it's been dead. The narrative is dead. I don't even know that if it pulls up any volume any longer. But yeah, like at some day, I can see it pulling like a 10-20% candle and then just do nothing for the next months. But I don't think it's the DeFi or a ETH related coin you should be focused too much. Someone said Pepe. Pepe looks decent. So this is the Pepe chart we talked about last week as well. What I personally believe is that you can get some spot swing exposure as long as Pepe continues holding above this 1314 area flip. I think the least you get on it is a move into 1725, right? This 32% rally. And then if it flips that, that's where you can target probably back into 2300 and new highs even. So yeah, also another coin you should be focused on if you are looking for some ETH betas. If you're not in, try to see if this week you can get some pullback into 131, which you can long for a move into 1716, right? So this is the plan I have on Pepe for whoever asked. Check virtual. Okay. Also, SUI is another major I have my eyes on. Has been consolidating below this yearly open level we have talked about a lot of time. Uh, oh, this was such a good play, man. Someone in the chart ideas. I don't know if that guy is still here. Tag me in the charts ideas for a position to try on. Wow, such how pico perfect that was. You asked about longing SUI, and we discussed that since it's at yearly open, look for a pullback to be longing and try to bet this 4 hour imbalance and see how pico bottom it was. Very clean price action. So nevertheless, if you are able to get this yearly open flip, I think it's a big buy on SUI. That's where you get the final rally on SUI. So yearly open is around 4.12. Any good higher time frame acceptance above, you can see I have my alert set. Any good higher time frame acceptance above, and we'll swing long on it for an all time high rally. But man, this I don't know how I missed this. What a bottom take it would have been. 4 hour imbalances is really good point of interest. Which you should be looking at when you're especially longing majors with higher volumes. Those work really good on those. So I'll post share this SQR chart in the chart as well. Just have a minute, Balenciaga. Like, what's going on with virtual? Seems like either you are too overexposed on it or you are too excited for it. Okay, virtual. Okay, this is a nice looking chart, man. So this is the area virtual needed to flip above, and it has been rejecting for a week now. Now that it has reclaimed, also it confirmed this 8 hour demand with the last close. I think it can eventually break above. To be honest, I like this chart. Like the way it's forming these higher lows and higher highs into this flip. I think you can try something like this. But as a disclaimer, I'm not taking it because, as I've said in the start of the stream, I'm in two longs. Nothing I'd want to risk more on a Monday. So not taking this. But if you want, this is a good looking setup on virtual. Nice reclaim. Confirm the SATA demand. This looks decent. I'd say you can just have your invalidation like a manual one will below this recent data demand. Doesn't look bad. Bitcoin is back at our entry. Let's see if you are able to get the push back into our TP. The first TP area I'm looking at on Bitcoin is around the supply above. So run the Thursday highs into the supply, and that's where we'll take our first profits. Also, you have these sets of equal highs resting above. Let's see. Yo, Pat, how you doing, brother? You can hop on stream if you want. Really like BTC 1 hour structure, high, low, and potentially lower how. Yeah, I think Bitcoin has been stalling for a long period of time. Dominance been down only. Now is a good time for Bitcoin to take lead for a while. And to be honest, what you want here for Bitcoin to take the lead. You don't want prolonged alts outperformance, right? Like, yes, it feels good that majors are up only and our alts are up only. And but eventually for a healthy market, you do want Bitcoin to take a lead, right? So let's see. $17,800 sweep. You wanted to long there. I kind of got my full fills around like 17,800, 17,900. So let's see. This yearly open break on Saw looks tempting here, to be honest. But I'm not wanting to long Sol. The reason being is that usually I'm loving longing yearly open reclaims in these conditions. The similar thing we did with Cardano this morning, right? So we long Cardano at this yearly open reclaim, and we have already gotten like a good 5-6% move out of it, right? I would have liked to do that with Sol as well, but along with yearly open, it's also this macro range highs area, and we have seen how sometimes you push above these range highs, but this daily candle just ends up forming like a top wick, and we bleed back down. So I don't want to be a top longer here. But this yearly open breaks looks decent. What's this going for a short on Bitcoin? Let's see. Again, every trader is free to be having his own bias in this group. Also, every trader has different um way that they trade, right? What's is more of a lower time frame scalper. I am more of a 4 hour, 8 hour trader that can let his long or a short run for even days. I can be in this Bitcoin long for 2-3 days. I won't mind. So everyone has their own way they trade. I'm thinking the market is slightly stronger than what I expect. Yeah, let's see. And I want to get into Bonk. It's only my risk management on a Monday that is stopping me to do it. But this looks really good. Like, look at this reclaim. Yeah, maybe like I will not feel good about being too smart and trying to long Bitcoin. I would have just been better off sticking to these alts that are running and just ignore what Bitcoin is doing. Like Bonk is already up 5% since we have started talking about it. What about Mog and MKR? Mog is a good coin. We can have a look. VIF looks really good as well. I'm looking to see how this daily closes. Yesterday, it tried to close above, give us a nice flip, but it ended up closing back below. But if VIF is like able to hold above this daily flip, I think VIF looks really good for a move into like $1.92 in coming days. We have a spot position running, which is already up like 45%. I want to compound back again soon if this daily closes above. Someone asked about um, Mog. Like on a swing spot buys, it almost hit the perfect like TP we had for a 2x, retested this yearly open and these range highs. I'm still waiting to see if like Bonk has been Mog has been lagging a little past few days. I'm looking to see if we could get another pullback into this 1.4 area. This is where I want to get some like reload on Mog for a move back into highs. Let's see. Like right now is a tricky area to be getting into it. It's a really volatile coin. So I'm looking for a pullback into 1.4 area. What is cash doing? 15% up, is it? It might be one of the runs that I end up missing. I was looking at cash this morning. I was even discussing it with another person. Yeah, it looks really good to be honest. So cash, this is the high time frame range. Let's pull up a cleaner chart. So you can probably call this as a high time frame range on cash. It's trying to reclaim back above these range lows. If you respect the range rules, then you can start scaling in from here and look to sell back around range highs. I have no idea what this coin does. It's very few times I've charted it, but this high time frame range on this coin looks really good. So you're gonna get a position that looks something like this. It's probably better if you get it on spot so that it's any small flushes don't affect you much, but it's a good swing play that you can try on CAS. What does this coin do? Morgan Pepe lagging hard. Pepe, I'd say yes, but I do think Pepe eventually runs, to be honest. Um, Pepe, I think, ends up being a good ETH beta eventually. Mog, I won't say is lagging, to be honest. It did a 2x run within few days. Probably just needs a little more cool off and it goes on to another leg up. XRP looks really good, and the reason I'm being long on Cardano, I think Cardano ends up being a good beta to XRP, especially if it like goes into a price discovery run. The only thing we have gotten yet was good sweep of previous all-time high. We got a small deviation below, something like this, and now we are curling back up. So if like XRP ends up running after this previous all-time high deviation and reclaim, our Cardano long could be a good beta. You got a really good point about ADA XRP. Yeah, like Cardano has always been good beta to XRP. Pretty much what you got last December and January, right? With XRP leading and Cardano eventually catching up to 1.4. XLM. I think, talking about how good XLM looks on weekly with like, I think Impulse or someone, but this looks like a good chart, man. Like, I know how to position in such chart because I don't have much levels here, but like this is a weekly chart that if it starts breaking out of, and also I was surprised that XLM is still still in top 10 market cap, right? If I'm not wrong, who still owns this amount of XLM? Yeah, 15 billion market cap, insane. But the weekly looks really good. But to be honest, I don't have a lot of levels I can look on XLM to be positioning. Maybe you can try aggressive entry where you can be long at this consolidation with a 10% validation and target new highs eventually. But I'll just stick to Cardano for now. Kaito? I think I played this coin a few weeks back. Yeah, doesn't look bad. Yeah, trying to break above a nice area. Doesn't look bad, to be honest. What does this coin do? Yeah, nice flip. Would would love to know your thoughts on LTC? Okay. Okay, BTC is looking good. Just give us a good sweep of these equal highs. And Link weekly looks really good. Probably the next spot call I'll give for the group. The only thing I'm waiting on Link is that it's below yearly open. If it's able to break, give it like a strong break above yearly open, We look for a swing play. I think a lot of people are still underestimating how this ETH mid caps could run if ETH's able to break above 4K, right? ETH above 4K would be a good ETH season, and we are yet to see any sort of ETH coins running, right? It's purely a ETH show right now. We haven't seen much rotation from ETH into rest of ETH eco coins. Text called Bonk. Uh, Looks really good. Yeah, probably the best way of playing it is just buy on spot because as long as this 34 area holds, I'm looking for a move into like 44, 47 at least. So good RR if you are just able to buy on spot and just do nothing. Like similar to what we did when we got this flip on Bonk, right? We got a good sweep and multiple entries, a good swing and multiple entries for a move into 34. Now that it's confirming this reclaim above 34, you can take another swing into like 46, 47. Would you go Bonk or Pepe spot? Would you go Bonk or Pepe? Like I had a thesis few days back because I was charting Bonk to Pepe. So this is what I had, but it isn't playing out yet. Maybe it does eventually. Bonk USG. Sorry. Okay, let's do inverse. Let's do Pepe to Bonk, right? So this is what I had on Pepe to Bonk. That even though it's lagging, but when you look at this higher time frame Pepe to Bonk chart, it's exactly at the area where it reversed the last three or two times, right? So for example, in the November 24 run rally, where I think initially Bonk got its Coinbase listing and then it was followed by the remaining listings. This is where Pepe to Bonk bottomed, right? And Pepe to Bonk bottomed means that that's where Pepe outperformed Bonk, the same area where it bottomed against Bonk in like July 24. So I had this thesis few days back that you'd get like Bonk stalling for a while Pepe starts running. Could still be valid to be honest, but doesn't hurt to have a bit of exposure on both, right? Like I'm still super bullish on Bonk, and I still believe that it would be the first Sol meme with a Coinbase listing to be running into all-time highs this summer. But Pepe is another good bet to be making on ETH eco coins, right? Uh, Lon man, why are you ignoring SPK? I'm not ignoring SPK. What's SPK first of all? SPK. If it's an on-chain thing, no, it's on Binance. Okay. Hmm. What is this coin? Huh? Isn't it bad? But to be honest, I don't have much of levels on this coin or much knowledge about what it is to be saying anything. Yo, Muza, how you doing, brother? Will you take ETH out of your name, please? You are the only reason sometimes I end up getting flooded on my longs. Cass, I think fly from here. Check DM. Yeah, we are talking about Cass on the stream as well. Looks like a really good high time frame setup, but I'd probably prefer like a spot swing where we can target these range highs. ETH, RW, and liquidity management. Okay, that's me to every chart request nowadays. What is this coin? Yeah, true. We are again getting a lot of newer listings lately. What's Bitcoin doing? Ah, okay, I missed the LTC request. My bad. Let's start LTC. Oh, somehow I missed this 100 reclaim. I think we discussed this plan few days back. Doesn't look bad here, to be honest. It's like the third attempt it's trying to break out of this multi-year long accumulation. This was your first attempt. This was your second. Probably the third time is where this time is different and LTC actually breaks out. Doesn't look bad, I'd say. Yeah. So this has been your multi-year long accumulation with 110, 112 being your range highs and these being your range lows. We got few failed attempts in last year, I believe. No, it was early this year. Now it's giving you this third attempt. This is the downtrend. If it breaks above, yeah, it's a good dino coin to be looking at as well. Not bad. I think Tech's been super bullish on this, so probably followed the plan he shares. Need a green candle on BTC like stocks doing right now. Are stocks running? Let's see. So what happened to Uni? I'm looking at my spaghetti chart and Uni just printed like a 8% candle. Okay, another ETH coin that I haven't charted yet. Yeah. Is it time for Uni to revive again as well? Kind of needs to break above this area, to be honest. Wow, stocks made new all-time highs. SPX did. What's Nasdaq doing? Yeah, even Nasdaq is back into new all-time highs. Insane. So looks like Bitcoin soon catches up, right? I hope so. Where I'm gonna set TP on Cardano. ADA. Where's the ADA chart? I'll let you know. I'll let you know in the corner. I always do about my running calls. How do you see Gala? I don't see the gaming narrative as a whole in a good way, to be honest, this cycle. It's the most underperforming basket this entire cycle. Yes, you do get some gaming coin runs time to time. Like they're giving 20-30% scam rallies and then they do nothing for a year. That's what I think about most of these gaming coins. Did you look at Fluky Bonk already? Yes, Khan, we did. So I'm about to end the stream soon in like next 5 minutes. So once you get the recording, you can look at. We discussed the Fluky and Bonk plans. Milady is a small spot pack that I got this morning. I don't know how it plays out. I'm just risking like a small amount, but the chart to me looks like, especially with the NFT things running, um, this could give like a good 20-40% scam run. I hate how many zeros you have to put on these Bybit memes. What's wrong? Okay. Yeah, I've been doing nothing, but I think like could print a good scam candle at some point. Looks really good for a scam run. What was the most interesting chart you all looked at besides ladies? Um, what was the most interesting chart out of the today's stream? The dinos, Cardano, Link, LTC, XLM, XRP, these look really good. On the meme side, Bonk, Pepe, these were the memes that looked really good. SUI, a really good looking chart if SUI, but it needs to break above yearly open. SUI breaks above yearly open and I'll call a swing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. ETH, as usual, the best looking chart currently in the market, but needs to break above 4,000. If you get a chance, wick. Okay. Man, like these are not the coins I like to say something on and even trade, to be honest. Like nah, look at these wicks up and down. These seems like coins that are just used for exit liquidities time to time and they won't do like much, to be honest. Yeah. So you have better things to be focusing on. Where do you think SPX heading? Are we talking about SPX 6900, the meme, or stocks? ENA going? Yeah. ENA is one thing I feel bad about being sidelined. Wow. we have a stream scheduled right now, right? Yeah. So we have a stream. I don't want to take any further time. I just like if you have any requests, you can always tag me in charts ideas. I'm always happy to answer there. Um, I just summarize in the end is that I do think that see some rotation back into Bitcoin soon. And the reason I'm sticking to Bitcoin long and about pullbacks and flushes, I see that thing being talked about a lot around the space. Flushes, pullbacks, when to expect a pullback. For that, just look at the recording for those joined late. And we talked about that concept in a detail as well. For now, I'll stick to my Bitcoin and Cardano long and see how things play out, right? So yeah, as usual, I had a great time. Hope you will enjoy it too. We'll probably look for another stream tomorrow. Till then, have a good time. Enjoy the market while it lasts. Try to make the most out of it and take care. Enjoy all of this.